Salí corriendo de la casa donde vivíamos y sick and tired, me three. Welcome to La Joy Podcast, my open diary of growth. So if you're somewhere between I'm healing and ¿qué pedo con mi vida? This is your space too. Let's grow, cry, and laugh about it because why the fuck not? When I started to brainstorm about this episode, I expected to be talking about work, goals, discipline, but the truth was so uncomfortable that I actually had a huge block. I tried looking back at moments where I had failed, and that did trigger shame, guilt, and avoidance. Responsibility literally means the ability to respond. And overthinking made me procrastinate. This episode isn't about being in the 5 a.m. club or squeezing every drop of potential to live your ultimate lifestyle. This is about taking accountability and the magic word action. Most of the places where I avoided responsibility were moments where I stayed silent or just stuck in my head. Growing up, responsibility just looked like obligations. Do what you're told, be strong, don't cause any problems. When I left to the States, I was just 9 years old. I didn't understand the magnitude of how my life had changed in just a couple of months. All I was told was that la escuela y la limpieza de mi cuarto eran mi única responsabilidad. And I remember I had my custom routine taped to the wall. But I also remember crying myself to sleep praying, Diosito, por favor, mañana cuando despierte, te prometo que voy a hacer todo mejor. And somewhere along that line, I started to believe something dangerous. I thought responsibility meant fixing things, fixing people, fixing emotions, fixing situations. And the worst part of it all was that all I did was hacer lo que yo quería, romperme ante cualquier situación emocional y causar más problemas. I remember having a conversation with my father a few years ago, and the look in his face was exactly what I kept asking myself. How the fuck did I get here? And just a few days ago, I was reminded that it's never too late to speak up and that it's valid to use any method possible, even when you're aware that everything could change from the way people see you and treat you to potential new risks for using your voice, especially as a woman. I can thank myself many moments in my life where I stayed silent and I know I shouldn't have. One of them was when I was 16 years old. I received a call from my dad saying that it was time for me to go back to Mexico. He had been deported about 9 months earlier. And I was really nervous because I had worked up the guts to tell him that I didn't want to leave. But that conversation just went not the way that I wanted. With that said, I never really fought for what I wanted. It just didn't seem like there was a choice. Another time where I stayed silent was la primera vez que me pusieron una putiza. En vez de correr regreso a casa y pedir ayuda, Recuerdo que me salí corriendo de la casa donde vivíamos y me puse a llorar arriba de una resbaladilla de un parque bien cerquita de ahí. Solamente pensando en cómo yo había provocado todo, en que él no era una mala persona y que yo no iba a arruinar su vida contándole a los demás lo que había pasado. Otra más delicada era precisamente con mis exparejas, nunca alzando la voz cuando I didn't want to have sex anymore. And I thought staying quiet was for everybody's best. Why worry my parents? Why involve the police? Why not be the woman I promised to be? But silence isn't responsibility. Sometimes it's just fear. During therapy, my psychologist said something that stuck with me. Eres alérgica a las responsabilidades de los demás. At first, the words made sense, but how? How do I stop worrying? Who's going to do it if not me? And it took me more time to think of excuses and imaginary outcomes than how fast I came to relief when I realized that I was carrying things that I was never supposed to carry, like other people's decisions, other people's emotions, and other people's consequences. About a year ago, when I was going through anger management, something became very clear. Radical ownership isn't about controlling everything in your life. That's impossible. It's about owning the one thing that is actually yours. Your reaction, what you say, what you tolerate, what you walk away from, what you stay silent about. Now I'm learning something harder. It's not fixing people, it's not regulating everybody's emotions, and it's not absorbing every bad decision around me. It's just owning my response. Sometimes responsibility isn't doing more. Sometimes it's stepping back. So here's a question I've been asking myself lately. What responsibilities am I carrying that aren't actually mine? And maybe that's something worth asking yourself too. Radical ownership isn't about perfection, it's about honesty. Owning the moments you stayed silent, sorry, owning the moments you reacted poorly, and learning to respond differently in the future. At the end, it doesn't matter how uncomfortable things get, everything is. So you do it anyways. It doesn't get any easier, nor does your mindset start to change by just overanalyzing yourself. Deja de hacerte way. That's just a small step of becoming responsible. If something, anything resonated, don't make any promises. Think about what you're going to do next and what attitude you're choosing to take your responsibilities with. But for now, just act in love, especially with yourself. I feel like I started and then I I might try it again. I don't know. Y ahorita no estabas grabando, ¿no? Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.